Your body was never meant to make changes overnight. And a lot of the times we get really frustrated with ourselves and our nervous systems when we want to either integrate new habits into our life or get rid of old ones that are maladaptive and not serving us. But the thing is that everything we do, everything our body does is a way to protect us. The brain's number one job is survival, and that is all it cares about. It is constantly scanning for threat and assessing, am I safe or am I not safe? And if I'm not safe, what do I need to do to protect myself? And in that process, the brain looks for prediction or pattern recognition. That is why it is so hard to break old habits because the brain is familiar with them, and the brain will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. Everything we've done up until this point in our lives is serving us in some way, even if it feels like it's a habit that is actually harming us. Let's take the idea of substance use. People who really, really struggle to get rid of substance use addictions and tendencies. Why is it so hard? Even though they logically understand why they shouldn't be using substances, it is so difficult to break the pattern and the cycle. And that is because that substance has served a purpose for the nervous system. In many cases, that substance is suppressing us from feeling difficult, unbearable emotions that might be coming up. So in that case, our brain goes, oh, okay, I don't want to go there. I don't want to feel that discomfort, but I know that this substance stops me from feeling that, at least in the moment. We know that it can cause more issues after use. But that is why I'd rather use that substance because it is familiar to me, it is predictable, and I know that in that moment it is going to protect me from feeling or experiencing things that I cannot handle at this time and I don't have the skills to manage. So when you start to get really frustrated with yourself around why can't I just make the change? I want you to first recognize that everything you've been doing, your behaviors, your thought processes, your personality, the way you interact with the world and engage with the world, has been developed by your nervous system, usually on an unconscious level, in order to protect you. And your brain will do anything it needs to do in order to keep you safe and protect you. And that's why it stays in that familiar territory. And in order to start to change that, you need to assess, where is my comfort zone first? Where do I feel the safest? Why do I keep engaging in these things? Because what is it doing for me? What is it serving? What purpose is it serving to protect me, to keep me safe, to keep me alive? And what changes can I make to slowly inch myself out of that comfort circle without going too far out of it? When you start to push yourself way too far out of that comfort zone, it's going to cause injury or trauma, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, psychological. And it's not going to be sustainable change in your life because when that trauma hits, you're going to run right back to that center circle of that comfort. So it's about providing yourself with the skills and tools to calm the nervous system, to go into a parasympathetic state, to be able to assess, how can I feel safe? What do I need to do in order to feel safe in my body? So when I do something that feels foreign or unpredictable or scary to change, I have the tools to bring myself back to safety without overextending myself, without scaring myself. And that is how you can start to make small changes in your life and grow. You go outside of your comfort circle for a little bit, and then you go back to that safety net. You go outside your comfort circle for a little bit, you use the tools to help regulate and come back in. And slowly, that circle, that inner circle of the comfort zone, will begin to grow, and your new baseline of what you can tolerate changes. So if you want to make change, one of the biggest things that you need to have is patience. And it was a hard lesson for me to understand that the change was not going to happen overnight. And in some cases, some of the changes I've wanted to make in my life took a year or multiple years. And that is because my body was so wired for survival, doing the same things it was doing all the time in order to protect myself. But if you can have patience, it will allow you to make small changes without getting overly frustrated all the time and then giving up. Patience, as corny as it sounds, self-compassion, and just being realistic with yourself. Now, all that being said, I believe that almost anything is possible. Humans have an amazing capacity to change and grow, and it is such a beautiful thing. So have big dreams for yourself, big hopes, big goals, and ambitions. Do not give up on those. But remember that in the process, while you work towards them, to be kind and gentle with yourself and to have patience along the way.